another Rokk, and this is my channel. This is Garfield. Garfield is not my cat. He is a neighborhood cat, and I love him. And it's been so long since I've had a cat on my channel. It's 31 degrees out now. Today is Saturday. It's the 2 days after Thanksgiving, and I wanted to talk about that. And also want to keep this kitty warm. Isn't he a pretty boy? Oh, he's not indoors anywhere, and he needs to be indoors. And but let me talk to you about my Thanksgiving. It was really kind of a Thanksgiving that wasn't. I couldn't see any point in cooking if it's just me and my mom here. The other person that lives here, he has lots of friends who have families and kids and stuff, and so he went over to somebody else's house for Thanksgiving, and there I actually ate nothing for Thanksgiving, if you can believe that. I actually ate the day before. There's a certain place I'm not going to name that had a dinner, and I went there, and but on Thanksgiving itself I couldn't see any point cooking if it was just me and my mom. And the thing is, she is so tired. She's really, really tired. And cooking takes a lot of effort, and especially you have to have a cleaner house. And the mice have totally taken over the oven. And so we would have to use this electric oven. But it just, cooking for a feast, that's a lot of effort when you don't have a lot of people that would appreciate eating it and stuff. And all the cleaning that it takes and all the prep, it's just a lot of work. And cooking can be a lot of fun, but it's more fun if you have a bunch of appreciative people to eat it, So my mother was really tired. I think she finally opened up a can of clam chowder for dinner. I ended up getting really depressed. In Thanksgiving, I went out and I went looking around to see what friends were there, and oh, baby, let's see your pretty face. Let's everybody see Garfield's pretty face. And then I thought I had plans with somebody. Then they blew me off. And, just because you call when you say you're going to call doesn't mean that you get off, that you're off the hook. If we made plans and I go through the effort to get ready, if I think I'm going to do something with you and you say that you're going to call at a certain time and then we're going to go out or something, you can pretty much rest assured that by the time I get my phone call, I'll be dressed and ready to go. So imagine how I felt if I had spent several hours. First of all, I took a shower the night before and washed my hair. Then I spent hours literally trying to pick a right kind of outfit because I didn't want to send the wrong message, and yet I didn't want it to, I didn't know how cold it was going to be, and I wanted to be reasonably warm, but if we were going to end up indoors someplace, I didn't want to be sweating to death, and I didn't want to wear pants. I really rather wear my usual dresses, And I finally decided on an outfit, and I was all dressed, and so I'm talking on the phone, but then they end up there on their way someplace else. So, and then the next day, when I had already made plans to go eating with one of my buddies, then I get a phone call, and a person who basically tried to insinuate that they were on their way here in town and do I want to go out someplace. And I'd already made plans. And it's like, first of all, if you break your plans with me once already, then I figure that you're a flake. And then if somebody decides that they want to call me up and take me someplace, and if they're a friend of mine, I probably go. Don't be surprised if you try calling me and you find out I've already made plans. People shouldn't take people for granted, right? So, I know you want me to put you down. Don't you like being warm? Don't you like being warm? Look how big this boy is. He's so big. He's so big. He's a big boy. And I heard, by the way, I got some bad information about this cat. At first, I assumed because of his ear tip, he was one of the fixed kitties, the alley cat allies. They spay and neuter cats around here. And apparently, he was owned by one of the street people. And for whatever reason, maybe when they got evicted, the cat ended up being an outside cat. But this cat is being loved on by one of the social service agencies up the street. Several neighbors have food and water out for him and stuff. But I found him this morning curled up sleeping in an open parking lot. And you know, it's 31 degrees. That's cold. And I know he's got nice long hair and he's got full belly and all that stuff, but still, it's cold. And any water that's outside freezes over. It's only supposed to be a high of 33 or 34 today. So, but you know, I'm still not over the death of my cats. And I am really, it still gets to me when I see cat food commercials and stuff and all this stuff. They have products now to diagnose the health of your cats based on how their weight fluctuates and the pH of their litter and all that stuff. And some days, sometimes I can go a couple of days without thinking about him, crying, getting upset. Other days, it comes out of the blue. You just never, grief is a funny thing. You never know where it's going to come from and all that stuff. Oh, yes, you want to talk about it? Do you miss anybody you love? What about the people that used to have you that let you go? Don't you feel bad about that? Oh, I feel bad if somebody threw me out who I thought loved me. Yeah, people shouldn't do that to the kitties. That's not right. You gotta love your kitties, right? Tell them. You gotta love your kitties. Yeah. Oh, you like it better in warm here? It's cold outside. It's cold outside. You don't like being cold. I don't like being cold. I don't like being cold. No, I don't like being cold. But yeah, my Thanksgiving really sucked. And needless to say, we are not decorating for Christmas this year. I mean, what's the point? The house is a mess. My mother is too tired to help me clean. I don't want to spend all my waking hours just cleaning. You know, and the mice, my God, there's probably 1,000 to 1 mouse to human ratio here. The mice are more in my room now than they are even in the kitchen. And the thing is, there's almost no food here. But I do have notebooks full of song lyrics. I have old journals. I have all kinds of stuff. I have paper memorabilia and all kinds of things. And the mice, you know, they tear up paper and they shred it up for the nests and stuff. Now, I've tried setting aside little bits of food just for them so they wouldn't eat our food. And sometimes that works. Sometimes they know and they go to it. But the last pest control guy we had here said that the only way that we could really deal with the mice is all the holes need to be sealed up. And the landlord has to help with that. And I think the landlord is still in Taiwan or China or wherever he is. So, yeah. And we don't like it when he has some local not contractors, but they're just basically, I think they're church volunteers or something who we don't really know. And we have these people sometimes traipsing through like when somebody shut off the gas a couple weeks ago for whatever reason. It wasn't the cooking gas, it was just the water heater gas. Imagine trying to wash your face and all of a sudden the water doesn't get hot. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And we found out that somebody turned the gas off. It wasn't us because you need a special wrench to do that. And so, and then the landlord, like I said, couldn't do much because he was out of the country. And we ended up having some people that we didn't know traipsing through our apartment. And come on, you know, when you got just 2 females in the house and one is really tired and old and sleeping half the time and the other, I'm sorry, I don't have a black belt in karate, you know. Just, so yeah, but we got the hot water again and, you're so pretty. Look at everybody looking to see your pretty face. Is it Garfield? Say hello. Say hello. Yeah, so anyway, I hope you guys have had a good Thanksgiving, and I have a lot to be thankful for. I'm thankful for all you who watch my videos. I'm thankful for fuzzy kitties, and I wish I could. I want to take a cat in again, but you know, I'm outvoted by 2 people in the house. And yes, you notice I am wearing trousers. Sorry to disappoint you guys, but they're actually like my sleeping pajamas. They're actually cuddly and fleecy, and I love the colors. I mean, it might not be the most attractive thing in the world because they're kind of baggy and loose and stuff, but as you can see, they're comfortable, you know? But yeah. Alright, I just wanted to say good morning, and I hope you had a good holiday weekend, and oh, and in the future, if any friends of mine are watching my channel, you know, let's do Friendsgiving next year or something. I keep on hearing about these groups of friends get together and they share meals together and stuff, and I'd like to be a part of that. Of course, the thing is, it depends on the kind of friends you have. Most of my friends are homeless, so they're eating at all the places. And there was a bunch of places throughout the city, by the way, that had meals, and there was places in parks and things, and I was out of the loop. I got to one of those places, and I don't want to say the name of the institution that held it, but it's a well-respected charity that shows up at disaster sites, and they really, when people are leaving bad areas like tornadoes and hurricanes and stuff, these are the people that really they help to clean up, and they help to get people housing and food and all that stuff. And that's where I ate my Thanksgiving meal. Yeah. But so if you have friends who have families and stuff, and you can go to dinners and stuff, count yourself grateful, because not everybody has that. And this is not a town like some of the bigger towns like Hollywood, for instance. If you're in Los Angeles, you're in Hollywood, California, you can eat Thanksgiving dinners at Hard Rock Cafe. You can eat them at the comedy clubs. I forget which comedy clubs there are, but there are all these places where you can get meals for both Thanksgiving and Christmas. And here in Atlantic City, you have to go through the social service agencies, have things going on in some of the vacant lots, and but I was out of the loop this year with all the homeless people. I didn't know all the places to go, and so I ended up basically feeling sorry for myself a lot. And I realize I must be a bit of a hypocrite when I get on my mom's case about spending so much time in bed. She's probably depressed. She still misses my father, okay, and he's been dead over 15 years. And I miss him too, don't get me wrong. But you know what? Yesterday, the state of mind that I was in, I spent a lot of time in bed myself. I didn't want to get out of it. I figured I got cable TV, I got blankets, so I can understand. Sometimes when people are kind of depressed, they just want to stay in bed. So, when I went outside, sometimes people throw clothes around and stuff. I found this really awesome leopard pair. Their trousers kind of like this. They're fleecy. The only thing is I have to be careful washing them, because apparently a person was walking around the sand dunes and they have these burrs. They're like miniature thistles, and they will definitely prick you and make you bleed. And there is at least one in the pants, so I have to be careful when I do when you're squeezing things out and rinsing and washing. Anybody who's ever washed my hand, you know how you do it. I have to be careful, because there may be a few more of those sticker things in there, and I don't want to hurt myself. But yeah, I've got more laundry to do, because another thing, when you get dressed to go someplace and turn out you're getting all dressed for nothing, you sweat up and dirty up clothes, and it makes a person like me who does hand laundry have to do so much more. I mean, do you know how much time it takes to do a basin full of clothes? And you can't fit a whole lot of clothes into one basin, and you're washing them, and you wash each thing out individually, and you hang things up to dry someplace, and you don't get to do a whole lot at one time, and it takes a lot of time to do laundry. So if you like plans with me, you're wasting my time, and people are so inconsiderate to do that, and it's just not cool. It's just, to me, it shows a lack of respect. Don't, and it's like, I have been all dressed up with no place to go before. I've had people break plans with me before, and it's just, why do you do it? And and men are probably worse at this than women. And this wasn't even a date or anything. It was just, and it wasn't the point. The food wasn't the point. But when you say, hey, let's do something, you're going to do it, I'm going to call you and we're going to do this, I'm going to take you at your word. When people say they're going to do something and don't do it, that's really kind of fucked up. Yeah, right? Like I told you, I was going to take you in and get you warm for a few minutes. I didn't lie. You tried to run away from me this time. I don't know why you did that. I never hurt you. I love you. I'm so good to you. I would never be mean to you. I love you. Don't you know that? Don't you know I love you? I love you. Yes, I do. Here, can I set you here? Will you stay here? I don't want you running. If you go underneath my bed or something, you're going to cause problems. See, I have my fan is right here, and a metal bucket that I have some things I don't want the mice getting is on it, and underneath that is where the cat food and the cat treats and everything was. Now, the big bag of cat food I gave to, that big bag of cat food I finally gave to people next door. They have this kitten. Somebody's girlfriend has a kitten, and the kitten needs to be fixed. And I went and gave it food, and now she's acting like she wants it to have a litter of kittens. And I'm trying to arrange for Alley Cat Allies to fix her cat. And so meanwhile, she just is copying an attitude. She's probably under 18. She's a real young girl. I'm thinking, what happens when they get kicked out next door and that cat ends up on the street and that cat ends up pregnant? We have such a problem with pregnant cats, and most people, when they get a litter of kittens, you don't realize what it takes to bottle feed those cats. If the mother cat disappears, you have to take every 2 hours, you got to bottle feed a cat. And most shelters don't have the staff to do that. They just put them to death. And every time I see people that are irresponsible with their kitties, and you have a young cat like that, when you don't know how. I was so careful for the most part to not get pets when I lived in California because I knew that I had an unstable living situation. And when I finally had a roommate that brought 2 kitties in, and unfortunately one of my roommates deliberately lost the male kitty. And meanwhile, mind you, they were not fixed kitties. And then I got the female kitty, and I kept her for a while. And my roommates, I had taken some people in off the street, and they started to get, I didn't realize they had a heroin issue. And things got really hectic, and I gave this cat to somebody I knew who lived in a stable environment. And I would imagine that if he kept her for the rest of her life, she's probably dead now, because this was, the cat, this happened before 9/11, and the kitty was living in their apartment when 9/11 happened, because I lived with them for a while, and then shortly after 9/11, I stopped living in that apartment, because the woman had a parrot, and would always wake me up 5:30 in the morning, and 5:30 in the morning in LA is 8:30 in the morning in East Coast time, which is why I was up for the 9/11 tragedy. Oh yeah, one other thing, since I'm talking about tragedies, we have another thing to be thankful for. Some of the hostages have been released that were taken by Hamas. However, none were Americans yet. Some were from Thailand and some were from Israel. And 2 of the kids had birthdays during the time they were in captivity. So to anybody who thinks it's okay to tear down those posters of the kidnapped victims, shame on you. Anybody who still supports, quote-unquote, Palestine, who still supports Hamas, shame on you. To any of my friends who don't back Israel, shame on you. Because if you support Hamas, you support terror. If you support so-called Palestine, you support terror. And to my friends in Washington, D.C., who volunteer at that peace vigil, if you support Palestine, if you are part of this Free Palestine movement, you are not peaceniks. You support terror. There's people I'm not talking to over this issue. Really, if you support terror, there's right and there's wrong. There really is. And I'm not going to purport what the solution to all this is going to be. I have my own opinions on things, and you know what I think of certain religions, especially the one that's causing all the aggression. And it's not Israel that's causing the aggression. It's funny, whenever Israel tries to defend itself, people put the focus on what Israel's doing. They don't think about what Israel is defending. All those families that were tortured. You don't need to rape women. If you want to take somebody, if you want to kill somebody, you can easily shoot them. You don't need to torture them. You don't need to use fire. You don't need to rape. And how a person could be thinking with his genitals during war anyway, is it, I mean, I understand the nature of rape is about power and control and not necessarily horniness or whatever, but it's not a despicable thing, these war crimes that are going on. So yes, I support Israel. And if you support the Palestinians, you're a fucknut. And I can't reason with you. But okay, say goodbye. We gonna say goodbye? Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. I love you. And I will talk to you guys real soon. Bye.